Hello, welcome to Daily Current Affairs by Neo IAS. Today is 4th of January 2019 and in today's newspaper the topics we are going to deal is with Bumi Rashi portal, UK Sinha panel, TRAI and TDSAT, Chang'e 4, grasslands of Western Ghats, map aided program and PQRS. So we are moving to the first topic, that is Bumi Rashi portal. So, Bumi Rashi portal is basically a scheme, a web-based utility under Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So, this web-based utility is to digitize whatever transactions are being done to date by physical means. So, till date it is done by files and physical transactions. So, they are trying to digitize it, convert into digital form. So, for that they introduced a web-based utility called as Bumi Rashi portal. So, what they do is they cut short the delays and avoid all the land acquisition things like land acquisition funds from competent authority for land acquisition into this ministry wing. So, what they do is they use this web-based utility to transfer all the fund at the correct time without any delay. Okay, usually this national highway projects, the payment of compensation and whatever the physical movement, everything is being recorded physically on files. So, this may have an issue of transparency, this may take delay. So, what they do is they digitize everything, you can do it online so that there is enough transparency, the thing is doing on right time. And it is error free and it has frequent notification in between the time interval on a real time basis. That is why they introduced it under Ministry of Road and Highways. Okay. The next topic is UK Sinha panel. So, UK Sinha panel also is in news. It is a small news yet very important one. It is a panel constituted by Reserve Bank of India. So, Reserve Bank of India means it will be financially dealt sector. So, this thing is made for MSME sector. What are they aiming is the long-term solution for this economic and financial sustainability of MSME sector. Okay, so this committee is being headed by UK Sinha. UK Sinha, as you all know, he was the former SEBI chairman and he is a very efficient man who is heading this panel to make MSME come out of its problems. Okay, there are a lot of financial issues in MSME sector. So, they will study the institutional framework, what are institutional framework are going on the MSME sector. They will review it, they will find the finance, the correct amount of finance to finance or bring them upward in this problem. And also, there have been a lot of recent issues in MSME, that is the economic reforms happening, and they'll study all this reform and they'll suggest what all things to be done to bring MSME to a more flourished manner, or what all things have to be cut down, what all things have to be changed. They'll study each and every reform, each and everything related to MSME. And they'll also do one more thing, they'll study the global best practices, that is the MSME things happening in other countries, what all the schemes or policies are adopted in other countries to bring up MSME. They'll study that, and whichever the practices are best for India, in the Indian context, they will adopt it and implement it in India. Okay, so by this they'll improve the technology, they'll accelerate the growth, and it will be a long-term solution instead of a short-term solution. So, the financial stability or sustainability of MSME sector is being ensured by UK Sinha panel. Okay, it is constituted by RBI. Either the question will be like UK Sinha panel is based on, and you will be given 4 questions, 4 options. So, there will be MSME, there will be bad loans, there will be like agriculture or defense. So, there will be 4 options, you have to opt from it. Or either they will be asking like 2-3 statements regarding this MSME sector, and among one statement they will be mentioning the UK Sinha name, the panel name. Either way you can expect the question. Okay. And why is MSME so important is because MSME contribute to 40% of the export happening in India. So whatever export we have, 40% of it is from MSME. And also the manufacturing sector, 45% of the manufacturing sector is also coming from MSME. So MSME cannot be neglected. It's a very huge sector and financing at the right time is very important. So whatever reform is there, it has to be rechecked and it has to be updated in constant interval of time. That is why they appointed this UK Sinha committee. The RBA appointed it. Okay. So basically RBA wanted to help the MSME sector, but what they do is they can't finance it all the times. Like whenever the MSME sector is having a loss, they can't finance it all the time. They have done it one time, like they have given 25 crores to MSME in a one-time method. They can't do it for a long time. So for that, they are instead preparing this panel. Okay. Now coming to the next topic is TRAI and TDSAT. So before knowing why TRAI and TDSAT is in news, you have to know what TRAI is, what are their functions, and why TDSAT came into being and what they do. Okay, that is how you study. So first, I'll tell you what TRAI is. TRAI means Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. So it's a regulating body. It is made under an act of TRAI Act in 1997. So it's a TRAI. It is based on the TRAI Act of 1997. It's a regulating body. So who all are there in the body? There should be a chairperson. The chairperson is a retired judge of Supreme Court, okay, or the Chief Justice of a High Court, either. Okay, so chairperson should be a judicial member, and you also have the other members who have special knowledge about this telecommunication. It's basically a telecom regulatory authority. So the best person from the field of telecommunication, finance, accounts, law, management, consumer affairs are also taken in this the regulatory body, but it is headed by a judicial member. So what are all they doing? They have the regulatory function, as I already told you, but as it is headed by a judicial member, it has an adjudicating function as well. So it will mainly deal with if service providers have any dispute, it will deal with the dispute. Okay, if there is a dispute between the service provider and the consumers, they will deal with it as well. So each and every problem relating to the service sector, that is a telecom sector, either it is the interconnection issues or the revenue sharing or the telecommunication service, its quality and the interest of consumers, everything which is related to telecom, the dispute related to all this will be coming under TRAI. They will be the adjudicating agency for resolving all this dispute, and they also have the authority to give direction to the service provider, to tell them what to do and what not to do. They have the power to issue directions to the service providers. So also there is a choice of like giving appeal. So whatever TRAI has judge or whatever decision TRAI has given, the service provider or the client has an option to give appeal to a High Court or Supreme Court. Okay, but civil courts doesn't have any role in it. Okay, the High Court and Supreme Court are appellate bodies of TRAI. Again, then why TDSAT came into being? So TRAI is a regulatory body, everything is under TRAI. So why TDSAT came into being? TDSAT means Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellate Tribunal. So one thing you know, it's a dispute settlement body as well as it's an appellate tribunal. So it's basically a tribunal. What happened is that the TRAI has this adjudicatory powers. So it has been it was challenged before the High Court, saying that they doesn't have any authority to give direction to the Department of Telecom, because Department of Telecom is something very huge, and a statutory body like TRAI doesn't have any authority to give direction to Telecom department, and it is not having that capacity. So what the court did, that court held that TRAI does not have any power to issue directions and as a result of that, someone has to take care of the decision making in the telecom sector. So for that purpose, the Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellate Tribunal came into being. So this was basically set up to adjudicate the dispute and dispose all the appeals with considering the interest of the service provider as well as the consumers, and for the betterment of the telecom sector. All these things are considered while creating this appellate tribunal. Okay, what happened again? TDSAT, they have a chairman. The chairman and 2 members, they are both appointed by the central government, directly an agent of central government, and this chairperson always should be a judge of a Supreme Court or again the Chief Justice of a High Court. So this panel is also, this tribunal is also headed by a judicial member, and they have 2 additional members. Okay, they also have this extended authority on cyber appellate tribunal as well as on the airport authority. So they have an extended decision making capacity in the field. Okay, and in case of the powers and jurisdiction, as I told you, they have full authority on the telecom sector, like they can give decisions on telecom, broadcasting and airport services, but in cyber thing, they have only the appellate jurisdiction. The other case, they have original as well as the appellate jurisdiction in case of telecom, but in case of cyber, they have only appellate jurisdiction. That is not very important, but still keep it in mind. And now I'll tell you why this is in news, because TRAI recently moved to Supreme Court against this TDSAT based on this predatory pricing. So the news was like this, the predatory pricing, like if an operator with more than 30% market share offer this tariffs lower than the average variable cost, whatever the cost is available in the market, if a service provider is giving a service below that average cost, it is called as predatory pricing. So this predatory pricing is against the TRAI's rule. What TDSAT did was, they struck down this rule. So the TRAI moved against TDSAT in Supreme Court, saying that this is against their rule and this have to be revoked. Okay, so in this case, you have to know what predatory pricing is. It is the illegal act of setting prices low in an attempt to eliminate competition. So, if 2 service providers are there, the average service providing cost, the average cost, if it is 30 rupees and a service provider is providing service for 25 rupees, it affects the competition. So if such a competition is affected, it is not sustainable for an economic market. So TRAI says this TDSAT has made some rule which is against TRAI's rule and it is supporting the predatory pricing. That is why it is in news. So in this particular news, what you have to concentrate is what is TRAI, what are its functions, how is it composed, and what is TDSAT, what are its functions, how is it composed, and what is predatory pricing. These things you have to keep in mind. Okay. The next topic we are going to deal with, Chang'e 4. So Chang'e 4 is in news continuously for 2-3 days. It is a Chinese lunar rover and it made its first soft landing on the far side, on the dark side of the moon. So that is why it is in news. This rover is being carried by Long March 3B carrier rockets. The carrier rocket name is March 3B. Okay, it's the first time a lunar mission is landing on the dark side of the moon. That is why it is so important. And talking about Chang'e 4, it is the 4th lunar probe by China since 2004. They have been sending lunar probes since 2004 and this is the 4th lunar probe sent by them. And in Chang'e 4, they are carrying the payload of 4 different countries, that is Netherlands, Germany, Saudi Arabia and Sweden. 4 countries payload have been carried, and this Chang'e 4 has 2 parts. Okay, one rover and one lander. Okay, you basically know lander means it is to land it is to settle there, and the rover means it moves and takes photos. Okay, so they have 2 parts, the lander and the rover. And the first Chang'e spacecraft, the first one China sent was in 2007 what they did was they just made some photos. They just collected some photos and the basic scientific surveys, that's it. And in Chang'e 2, that came in 2010, what they did is they again started investigating the land, the climatic conditions, and they again started taking photos. Then in Chang'e 3, that happened in 2013, they again landed on moon. So they have been taking the photos of moon and studying the moon surface for since 2007. But this time they landed on the other side, the dark side of the moon. So what is this dark side of the moon? Moon doesn't have actually a dark side because sunlight is reached everywhere same. Okay, there is not no dark side, but we colloquially say it's a dark side. That is because the earth is never seeing the other side. Not because it's a dark side, it doesn't have light, not like that. The earth is not seeing the other side. That is because earth and moon are tidally locked. Okay, that means they rotate at the same rate. So the earth never gets to see the other part of the moon. That is why it is called as a dark side. The far side of the moon that never faces earth, that is due to the earth's rotation. Why earth is rotating like that? Because earth and moon are tidally locked. That means they rotate at the same rate. Okay. Now, the next topic we're going to deal is grasslands of Western Ghats. The grasslands of Western Ghats, as all of you know, it's called as Shola grassland, and it is in news because this grassland is under threat. 60% of the grassland has been changed. There's a huge loss of the grassland area by the predator species, the invasive alien species, and only 40% are being almost 40% of the high elevation grassland, they disappeared. Okay, that is why it was in news. It's a very critical issue because Shola grassland is the typical, the endemic character of the Western Ghats. Okay, so this Shola grassland is mainly distributed in Nilgiri Hills, Palani Hills and Anamalai Hills. As you all know, Nilgiri, Palani and Anamalai Hills comes under the category of southern hills. Nilgiri is the point where Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats meet. Palani is to the east of Nilgiri and Anamalai is the south of Nilgiri. So these hill ranges, that full stretch is comprised of Shola grasslands. So earlier the region was planted with the exotic trees like pine, acacia, eucalyptus, and these things have been started to increase. So the exotic species started to invade the entire region and started to destroy the ecosystem. And what happened is this, the exotic plantation reached by 27% of the Palani hill region and 17% of the Nilgiris. Okay, the maximum destruction is seen in Tamil Nadu region. So it is because of the exotic invasive species which was planted earlier for some other purpose. Okay, it started expanding. Now we have map aided program. In map aided program we have Sipahijala Zoological Park. You all know Sipahijala Zoological Park is in Tripura. Okay, I'll tell you what is the importance of Sipahijala. Sipahijala basically have two main species. One I have mentioned is the fire-race langur. Fire-race langur is found in Sipahijala Zoological Park. Another important species found there is clouded leopard. We have a clouded leopard national park in Tripura, and this Sipahijala Zoological Park come in the vicinity, in the premises of the clouded leopard national park. It is home to the four species of primate monkeys, that are langur species mainly. One is fairy langur, then we have capped langur. Please note all this langur species which are found in Sipahijala Zoological Park, and please mention it in the comment section. There are four, and one is fairy, one is capped langur, and please mention the other two. Also we find there the clouded leopard. So it is basically in the outskirts of Agartala. That's a capital state, the capital city of Tripura. I'll show you the map. This is a map of Tripura and I have underlined it with red color, the Sipahijala. Okay, so it is to the south of Agartala. Okay, and Sipahijala, you please note what is the kind of vegetation as well, because in Tripura mostly it will be deciduous forest. So please try to note down what is the vegetation found there. Okay. Next is the previous year question revision series. The question we have is, which one of the following regions of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest and deciduous forest? The options are North Coastal Andhra, Southwest Bengal, Southern Saurashtra and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay. So we'll iterate one by one. We need a combination of 3 types of forest. First we will know what are the types of forest, what is its characteristics. One is mangrove forest. Mangrove forest, as you know, it is found near the coastal areas. And the evergreen forest is found in the areas where there is more than 250 centimeter of rainfall. And the deciduous forest is also seen in heavy rainfall region between say 100 to 200 centimeter rainfall. So now we'll iterate one by one. First is North Coastal Andhra Pradesh. North Coastal Andhra Pradesh has pretty good rainfall. They are fed very well, but it doesn't have about 250 centimeter rainfall. It is a coastal region, so it will definitely have mangrove, and it is getting a pretty good amount of rainfall, so it is being deciduous as well. For being evergreen forest, it has to get more than 250 centimeter rainfall. So first option is wrong. The next option is Southwest Bengal. Southwest Bengal has long stretch of mangrove and they are very rain-fed areas. There is moist deciduous forest as well as semi-evergreen forest. Still, they doesn't have the evergreen forest category. Okay, because it's very rain-fed but not above 250 centimeter rainfall. Then coming to the southern Saurashtra region. In southern Saurashtra region, what the problem is, the region is somewhat dry. As you know, the region is a dry region. It has dry deciduous as well as the tropical thorn forest. Okay, it's a dry forest. So, this is also a wrong option. The D option is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands lies closer to the equator. So, it has the equatorial climate. It has rain throughout the year, about 250 centimeter, and it has tropical evergreen forest throughout the island. It have the mangrove stretch in the coastal region. It also have deciduous forest, the line next to the evergreen forest. So, all these categories are satisfied in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So, the answer is Andaman and Nicobar Island. Okay, I hope everyone is clear about whatever I taught you today. So, if you have any kind of doubts, please mention in the comment section. I'll clear it. Thank you so much and bye for today.